we're going to go ahead and get started. Please keep enjoying your lunch. If you are serving on the panel, if you wouldn't mind making your way up to Jennifer and Gloria before we get started. All right, welcome to Bites and Insights. How's everyone doing? Having a good day? All right. If you notice at your table, we have some cowbells. Anyone brave enough to do the first part of the ringing? Gretchen, I'm gonna make you do it. There we go. All right, so I need you to grab that bell if you believe that you've traveled the farthest. Ring that bell. Let's go ahead. Travel the farthest. Ring it. Where are you traveling from?
Massachusetts.
All right, can we beat that?
Oh, we got another one.
California.
I have a California. I did see a hand over here.
Yep.
All right, we have Arizona. I heard a bell over here. Where are you from?
Colorado.
All right, we have Denver in the house. Miami. Oregon. Oh, and I thought I heard a bell over here. Where are you from?
Nashville.
We have Nashville. Nice. I do feel like California was our winner, so let's give a round of applause for California. We have a prize table up there if you wanted to grab a prize. All right, next question. Who has attended the most alumni weekends?
Six.
We have 6 alumni weekends. Woo, I see lots of hands. Going up to the panel.
Class of 66, every one.
Class of 66, every single one. I saw more hands over here.
We're close behind. 3 of us have been here all but
one from 71. Good. Any other ones traveling or attended the most? All right. I do have one of my student leaders over here.
I've attended every one for 76.
Everyone's in 76. Amazing. All right, Christian has some quick fire questions. No prizes for this round, but ring that bell if you wanted to share your thoughts. Go ahead, Christian.
Yeah, first person that rings the bell, I'm just running straight to you, okay? So, favorite Goucher tradition or event? Oh, come on, guys. Okay.
Women's Studies Tea.
Ooh, okay. That's nice. Women's Studies Tea. Okay. Oh.
Potpourri, run by the commuter students, then known as the city students. 76.
Oh, nice. Okay. And then we had one over here too, and then we're gonna do another question.
Hot Steel.
Hot steel? What is hot steel?
Well, it was a band playing in the courtyard outside of Crash Yard.
That sounds great. Okay. Okay. Well, okay. Hold up. We'll do these last 2, and then we'll do another question.
Okay, Gopher Hole, what was it? The happy hours. Gopher Hole happy hours and milkshakes and wings.
That sounds pretty good. We got to bring that back. That's what we need. But we did just bring back the Gopher Hole, though. We'll talk about that later. Hold up. Who was the...
inauguration of Rhoda Dorsey as president.
No, I'm confirming.
Oh, okay.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, we have another question, okay? And then maybe if you have a good answer for this one, okay? So, since you all have had a moment to come back to campus, then versus now, one thing that's totally different. First thing that stood out. Okay, we have a, I saw a mimed bell ring right here, and then we'll come over.
Men,
okay.
The dining hall experience.
The dining hall experience. Is for better or worse?
Oh, way better.
That's a good one. I'm both thankful for Men because I get a degree, and the dining hall experience because it tastes good. Okay, we got a hand over here, and then a bell.
Frolicker moved, and most of us in 71 were in Frolicker.
Frolicker did get up and move. It grew some legs. Yeah.
Going to the phone down the hall to get a phone call.
Working on the switchboard.
Curfew.
Say it again.
Curfew.
Curfew. Yeah, nah, that's a foreign concept. Yes.
Being at the desk in the dormitory to check people in and do you really?
We got free reign now. They let us out. Okay, we're gonna do another question, and then I'm gonna come to you first. So you got a thing on the spot, okay? A professor or class you will never get. Oh.
My intro to women's studies with Barbara Roswell.
We have one right here. Right there.
All of my education courses with Barbara Gould. Oh.
Brownlee Sands Corin.
Rhoda Dorsey, Colonial and American History.
Christian, I have one over here.
Dr. Kraushaar, ethics and philosophy.
Professor Virginia Dersch.
Professor Marianne Githens.
Professor Jean Baker.
Dr. George Foote, and he came to my wedding.
Oh, okay, that's a friend for life. Okay, we're gonna pass it back.
All right, we are going to get started with our amazing panel. So I would ask our panelist and moderator to go ahead and take the stage.
I'm not. I'm taking a persona. There you go.
Cool. Good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone feeling today? First day of Alumni Weekend. Feeling great. My favorite time of the year. Welcome to Alumni Weekend 2026. I'm Perry, class of 26. Graduating in May. I'm from Beltsville, Maryland, so like a 45-minute drive from here. And I am a media studies major. And my Goucher fun fact would be, I'm a Goucher legacy. My sister just got married to another Goucher alum, so it runs in the family. We are so glad you are here to revisit campus life. The lighthearted look at the Goucher experience across generations. You'll hear stories from alums about dorm life, dining, and traditions. So this program will be live streamed, so let's give a warm hello to our Goucher friends joining us from afar. Everyone wave to the camera. Hi, everyone.
I don't know where the camera is. Oh, here.
Okay. To help keep things lively and the stories flowing, we got two fantastic co-moderators leading the way. Let's give a warm welcome to our co-moderators. Please join me in welcoming our first moderator, Gloria Cantor, class of 2004, who majored in management with a minor of communications. Based in Atlanta, she currently serves as the Vice President of Operations for the Atlanta and Southeast region of the Association of Corporate Growth. Yay. During her time at Goucher, Gloria lived in Frolicker Hall, the Wellness Dorm, and Delaney Valley Apartments. And she credits her experience to inspiring professors, lifelong friendships, and the beauty of campus. She remains actively engaged with the Goucher community through her leadership with the Alumni Association, and is excited to reconnect with fellow alums this weekend. Please join me in welcoming our next co-moderator, Jennifer Lewis David, class of 1994 and Vice President of the Alumni Association. A double major in History and European Studies, Jennifer is based in Towson, Maryland, and currently serves as an in-house counsel at United Healthcare. Jennifer lived all 4 years in Gallagher House in Frolicker Dorm at its original site. She credits Goucher's small classes, inspiring professors, and lifelong friendships for shaping her experience, and is excited to be back volunteering and connecting with fellow alumni this weekend. I will now turn the program over to Gloria and Jennifer.
Thank you, Pari. Hi, everyone, and welcome. We're so excited to be here with you. Today is all about taking a fun trip down memory lane and a glimpse of campus life today. From residence halls and dining spots to traditions and social scenes, we'll be sharing stories that span generations. And we know some of you in the audience probably have a few stories of your own. So just because it's a very supportive community and we're super excited, as you hear stories from our panelists today, if you happen to hear your dorm, your residence hall, your favorite professor or class, let's have a little woo-woo cowbell, okay? So it's a introductory and participatory.
We also want to give a big shout out to some of our milestone classes celebrating this year. Thank you for making the time to be here and for the incredible energy and legacy you bring to the Goucher community. We're so glad you're part of this conversation. In addition to celebrating our milestone reunion classes, shout out to the classes ending in 1s and 6s this year. We're also recognizing a very few special Goucher community anniversaries this year. Did you know the Alumni House was completed and officially opened on June 11th, 1956? It means it'll celebrate its 70th anniversary this year. We're also marking 20 years of the donning of the kente ceremony, a meaningful tradition in which graduating seniors are presented with a kente stole, a fabric native to Ghana and reserved for special occasions. Goucher College is also celebrating 20 years of study abroad, a hallmark of the Goucher experience that continues to shape global learners and leaders. We look forward to celebrating all of these special milestones and anniversaries throughout the weekend.
Now, throughout the panel, there will be opportunities to hear from you, too. We'll be hosting a Goucher Proud lightning round, so Kristen's going to help us with that. A fun, fast-paced chance for our audience to jump in and share their memories and celebrate what makes Goucher special. And yes, there will be more chances to win some #GoucherProud prizes along the way. So let's meet our panelists. Representing the 1960s, please join me in welcoming Lorraine Brown, class of 1966. Lorraine majored in political science. She currently lives in Springfield, Virginia, and works in Washington, D.C. as the Director of Attorney and Alumni Relations at Covington and Burling, at the largest law firm in D.C., which also has over 14 offices around the globe. During her time at Goucher, Lorraine lived in Jeffrey House in Huback Hall. Any cowbells? Jeffrey House? Okay. And comes from a proud legacy family with multiple relatives who also attended Goucher. She remains deeply engaged and has been for over 60 years, serving in various alumni roles and currently as a reunion leader, supporting her class's annual giving. She's especially excited to reconnect with classmates in person, some of whom she hasn't seen in over a decade.
Representing the 70s, please join me in welcoming Barb Van Winkle, class of 1976, who majored in sociology. She currently lives in Ellicott City, Maryland, and is semi-retired from the first and only job she's had since graduating early from Goucher at the end of January in 1976. She started at Nancy Adams Personnel as a personnel interviewer, became manager, and then owner. She's since closed her office, but has a small business she runs from her home. During her time at Goucher, Barb lived in Winslow House at Stimson, where she formed lifelong friendships. Her favorite part of her experience, and she's especially excited to reconnect with those classmates at reunion.
And please join me in welcoming Joan McCarthy, class of 1981. Joan majored in English. She currently lives in Media, Pennsylvania, a suburb of Philly, and is happily retired from being the executive director of employee communications at Comcast Corporation. During her time at Goucher, Joan lived in Bennett House in Huback Hall and loved the small school environment, where she loved the education she received and is grateful for the lifelong friendships she made while here. Joan's looking forward to reuniting with some of her classmates and seeing how Goucher has evolved over the years.
Representing the 90s, please join me in welcoming Sam McCall, class of 1997, who joins us from Nashville, where he is a bar manager. He graduated with a degree in law. He's especially looking forward to seeing how fellow alumni experience the exciting new changes at Goucher.
And next but not least is, please join me in welcoming from the early 2000s, Jeremy Kraut Ordover, class of 2001, this century, right? Jeremy majored in history and PSC, Political science. All right. I'm used to the old 90s way of saying poli-sci. He currently lives in Phoenix, Arizona, and co-owns Strategy Financial Group with his husband, Calvin Getz. They provide retirement planning services to clients nationally. During his time at Goucher, Jeremy lived in Alcock Hall for 3 years, then commuted from Cockeysville senior year, where he lived in the same complex as his classmate, Daniela. He valued Goucher's small, supportive environment and credits faculty mentorship with shaping his success and pushing him to excel. He believes Goucher changed the trajectory of his life and looks forward to connecting with the next generation of graduates.
We had a little bit of a change. India Daly Weaver unfortunately was not able to join us, so we have Joe Weintraub, class of 2010 as well.
2017.
2017, sorry, also representing the mid to late 2000s. And I'm gonna let Joe introduce himself and tell us about where he lives and what he does and all the things. 2 minutes, if that.
Hi, I'm Joe Weintraub, class of 2017. I lived in Stimson for 2 years. Mary Fisher for 1. I studied psychology as my major. I live in New York City now. My wife is also a Goucher grad from class of 2018, and I am in Insights now. I do market research and online focus groups, and Goucher had big part of where I am. Also, I must say I'm on the AAGC board as a director. Didn't want to leave that out.
That's a very important point. Thank you, Joe. All right, now that we've heard from our panelists, let's start peppering them with questions. All right, so first question. So anyone from the panel can start. If everyone's got an answer, great. If not, we'll move on to the next. So for our alumni panelists here, what was your either favorite tradition at Goucher during your time here, or a memorable story from residence life that still brings a smile to your face? Favorite tradition or memorable story of residence life?
Just remember, we are being live streamed. Just FYI.
Joan?
School, we had the first get into Goucher Day.
Oh.
Is it on?
Was this on?
I think you just have to be closer.
It just needs to be closer.
Yeah.
Probably just right up to your mouth.
Yeah.
Hello.
There you are.
We had the first get into Goucher Day began in 1980 when we were juniors in college. So that was so much fun, outdoor, big party, and just a great tradition that began way back when.
Thanks, Joan.
Classes were canceled, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was the best part. Yeah. I actually found an article from the Goucher Weekly about the first one and how all the House presidents came together and they petitioned, presented to Rhoda Dorsey, our president at the time, and made it happen.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks, Joan. Who else has a memorable story or a favorite tradition? Sam?
We had a thing called midnight croquet. Every Wednesday at midnight, we would meet in the high priest's dorm room. That was my senior year. That was me, and we would drink boatloads of really, really rot gut cheap red wine, and then go out on the quad and set up a croquet course and play croquet until security would come and chase us away every week, every single week. Oh, and a bathrobe, a baseball hat, and a tie. That was the. Yes.
Was this year round?
Yeah.
So like even
Yep.
in the wintertime,
Yep.
you were in your bathrobe, a hat.
Yeah.
The sartorial splendor of it all must have been impressive.
I like it.
All right. Anyone else from the panel have one that they'd like to share? All right, Jeremy.
I also remember the gopher hole.
Yeah.
And I remember really late nights in the gopher hole, and again, security coming down there. And I remember very vividly one night looking at the security guard and saying, well, where would you prefer we make noise? And that stumped him.
All right. Any non-security guard related stories for the rest of our panel here?
By show of hands, who tormented Goucher security? There we go.
We got a few.
We've got some honest people.
I remember a big tradition was Humans vs. Zombies, which, if you're not familiar, you have a lot of students running around with the Nerf guns, and shooting them with other students. And so everyone knew when that was happening, and, you have random outbursts of running, and it was a fun time for maybe those who weren't playing. It wasn't a fun time, but for those who were, it was a fun week.
All right. One last call. Any other memorable stories and favorite? No?
Well, I guess one other thing that we would do that became a campus-wide thing was if the food wasn't great, we would order pizza late at night, but there was no Uber, there was no DoorDash. So Mary Kay Owen had a connection with the pizza owner. Just friends. But students from the other houses found out about this, so they would call Mary Kay to see if they could tack on to her pizza order, which usually arrived around 1 or 2 a.m. And Denise, does that sound familiar to you too? Or
Fantastic.
We got fed somehow.
Thank you, Joan. I'll pass along, maybe someone here from the 60s could validate if this is correct. My mom was class of 68, and she said when a male visitor came, they had to sign in at the residence hall. All right, I'm hearing validation of that. Okay, all right.
In the 70s?
And in the 70s, yep.
They had to sign in at the front.
Yes, you were, yep, 70s. Oh my goodness, okay. All right, so next question. How would you describe the sense of community at Goucher when you were a student there? And was it influenced in any way about favorite classes, majors, and professors? What was the sense of community at Goucher like when you were there? And was it influenced at all with your major, the classes, or a favorite professor?
I can go. Well, my generation, class of 76, we were all females. There were no men allowed into Goucher. Sorry. But I think, again, things that I think about from our class that were really important, like just the friendships. That I think, and we've sort of all mentioned that probably is one of the best things for me that I think about when I think about, I don't remember traditions necessarily, but I do remember late night talks with friends in the halls and, people occasionally coming out saying, can you move down the hall? I can't sleep. But a lot of that type of thing that we really were very cohesive and really cared about each other. So I think that's what I would say.
I love that. I remember that too. Yep. Yeah, go ahead.
It wasn't really, maybe Goucher thought of them as traditions, but I don't think we as students thought of them as traditions. But the way of life in the mid-'60s was very different than what you see today. And I think the younger members of this panel would probably think that those of us who went to Goucher in the 60s, sort of we're here in the dark ages. The comment about having to sign in your guest, I dare say every one of you sitting here has in your pocket technology. We didn't have technology. We had a college switchboard. If somebody called, they called the switchboard. The switchboard then buzzed your room, and you made a mad dash down the hall to a phone booth to take the call. And if one of the two phone booths on your floor wasn't available, you had to run to another dorm. It was things like that. As I said, they weren't really traditions, but it was a way of life that we went through. If you wanted to talk about traditions, and I don't know when these ended, in our sophomore year, we had to take something called the sophomore generals, which were supposed to be exams that helped point you toward what you were going to major in. Frankly, they were a pain in the neck. And then to graduate, we had to take comprehensive exams in our majors. And that was very much a Goucher thing. And the threat was, if you didn't pass your comprehensives, you weren't going to graduate. And they covered your entire major. So for example, for me as a political science major, American government was my thing. I had to take courses in political philosophy and things like that, just so that I could pass the comprehensive exam. So, as I said, those weren't traditions, but they were pretty much a way of life that we all knew. It was things like that. I don't think Goucher really, in the 60s, if they thought about traditions, the word wasn't really used all that much.
Mm-hmm. But that comprehensive studying gave everyone that common grounding, no matter what your majors were. Is that right?
You took it in your major.
Oh, in your major.
In your major. And, it was not a fun experience because it went over like 2 days, I think.
Oh, my. That sounds terrible.
And actually, when I went to graduate school, there were comprehensive exams to get your master's degree. And I thought, didn't I go through this once before in my life? But that was the way of life.
Joan, did you have one? Or Jeremy?
It's interesting because I was cleaning out a box that I had not touched since I moved into my house, and I pulled out of it a directory. There used to be a student directory, and it had your room number, it had your room phone number, and it also had your home address. And I showed it to my husband, and he looked at me and said, "This is crazy." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he says, "The fact that every student's home address and phone number is just public information." I was like, "You don't understand. It's a Goucher thing." Right? Like, it's just a Goucher thing. But because I think that our size is actually our secret sauce and our secret strength, because I never did or continue to give thought to anybody in this community doing something nefarious, because we're all family, right? Gail has been a part of my life since 1997, and that's crazy. But, it's the spirit of the campus, even though we changed from single-sex to co-ed, has remained this really tight group of people. And that sense of community continues on as alums. And I think that that's really, really special, and wanted to call that out.
Oh, Jeremy, that was really well said. Thank you for sharing that. All right, last question before we switch to my co-moderator who's going to come up next is, how did your involvement in extracurricular activities at Goucher shape your personal or professional development after graduation? So what you did on campus, extracurriculars, how did that help?
Bart's all in.
Yeah,
I'm all
Barb's
over
ready.
this one.
She's ready to go.
Okay, so I was an athlete when I came to Goucher, and my wonderful college roommate, Olivia, was also an athlete, and we played field hockey together. And I don't know if anyone else on the team, yes, you were on the team, right, exactly. And thank you, Dottie. And this became, a way to be a group together. We would go to practice, come back, eat dinner together, then shower, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, but it was, and then, I either played, I think I swam or I played basketball in the winter. But then Olivia was like, oh, are you going to play lacrosse in the spring? And I grew up in New Jersey, and I know this sounds very weird. I never saw lacrosse. Nobody played. It wasn't in New Jersey. So I'm like, well, I don't know how to play lacrosse. She goes, oh, it's easy. You just have a stick and you cradle it. And I'm like, okay. So the very first game I ever watched was the one I played in for Goucher. So, but I think the point is that I've always loved sports, and I went on, and it really influenced my life. I did actually, I think 30 plus years of triathlons, not like crazy ones, but like quarter Ironman. But, Goucher's was good because I had the swimming background, no problem. So it was great. So.
Oh, that's great, Barb. Thank you. Cowbell support. All right, anybody else answering that one? What extracurricular? Okay, yep.
I wrote for the Goucher Weekly, and I also was in the another first. There were a lot of firsts when we were there. Writing center. I was a tutor in the writing center. So that was really helpful and strengthened my confidence in going into a career in communications.
Excellent. So personal and professional, I love it. All right, one last call for this question. Anybody else? All right.
All right, I'm going to let Kristen do another quick little lightning round.
Yeah, we're going to do a quick hashtag Goucher lightning round, but I do need my two amazing students. So what we did is at random, we are picking one winner from every decade. So I have the golden envelopes coming over. If your name is called, we welcome you to the stage to pick one raffle item of your selection. So I'm going to turn it over to Perry. Perry, what decade are we starting with first?
The 1960s. Ready? Suzanne Neighbors Haskell, class of 66.
Are you here? Or we can pick a prize for you.
All right, we will hold it. All right, Christian, what's our next winner?
From the 2000s, class of 09, Jay Gilman.
Jay Gilman, our winner from the 2000s. All right, Perry, what decade are we on next?
The 80s. Laura Devaney Matthews, class of 81.
All right, congratulations.
We got a whole table full of prizes.
Come on up, yes.
From the 2020s, that's getting up there. Class of 20, Brandon Jalot.
All right, congratulations. All right, what decade are we on next?
From the 90s, Shani Monroe Rice from class of 96.
Woo!
From the 70s, class of 71, Ellen Williams.
Okay, all right, then go. From the 2010s, class of 2010, India Dali Weaver.
And that's a perfect segue. We did not plan that on purpose either, but she is representing on the panel. So a big round of applause for Joe, who filled in while India was making her way here.
And I'm going to do a quick introduction real quick of India, who was able to join us. Traffic was apparently terrible on the way from, where did you come from? Connecticut. India Daly Weaver, class of 2010, majored in psychology and minored in women's studies with a concentration of African American studies. She currently lives in Connecticut, where she works for the state in the Office of Early Childhood Education. She lived in Sondheim for 3 years, which is the wellness dorm, right? When it was it wasn't named when I lived in it. It was just the wellness house. For 3 years, and served as an RA in Stimson for her senior year. She values Goucher's culture of authenticity and growth and is excited to reconnect with friends, meet new faces, and continue building community as chair of the Black and African American Alumni Committee. So thank you for joining us. Then I gotta find my page with my questions. So these are kind of just about campus life and campus environment. I think that the question was, what was one thing you wish you could bring from your time at Goucher into today's campus life? I think for Lorraine, it is not the comprehensive exams. This is the one thing she would not bring back, but what's the one thing you wish you could bring back? For me? It's for anybody, sorry. Anybody that would like to answer, but if you would like to start, you're more than welcome to. I'm okay. You're like, no, it's all good. Anything? Nobody? Yeah, go
Say
ahead.
maybe the lack of.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Really quick, the lack of cell phones, because
Yeah.
if we could just walk down the hall and bang on a door and always have somebody to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And along those lines, I feel like Sandy Unger is going to show up and hit me for saying this. I miss the library. I miss the stacks. And I miss the archives. And if you ever had the chance to go into the archives in that old library, this one is pretty cool too, but there was just something special about that space being as old as it was.
It was the black mold.
Yeah, black mold. I'm a survivor. But
Microfiche.
Part of the magic of liberal arts.
Yeah.
Yeah, part of the magic of liberal arts was a real library.
Exactly.
Yeah. One of the things too is, back in the day, we all had dinner together in the dining rooms. And as I understand things now, you sort of go get your food, you either stay or you go to your dorm or whatever. And I think sitting at a table with classmates who may or may not have been your closest friends was, broadening in many ways because you would meet other people. But now it's sort of like everybody either has their nose in their phone or is running off and doing their thing. But having that hour in the evening where you sat together with people and talked about, you may have been belly aching about some class or something like that, but you were able to sit and talk and have a moment of decompressing. And I think in today's life, some of that is a little missing.
I would agree in the sense that the things I think that built community also were some of the things that were challenging. And for example, I think living in Stimson built community. One of my close friends, she's also here, and she was in a triple. And so though that was challenging and not an ideal living situation right away, that also built this sense of community, including the library and just different kind of memories like that I have really were challenges, but also built a sense of community. When I started at Goucher, we had to wait in a long line to register for classes in front of, when I ended Goucher, everything was electronic. So in my 4 years, there were a lot of transitions. A lot of buildings were built. There were a lot of things that happened in that short time span, and you can see where the things that could have been looked at as challenges, like waiting in a long line and people sleeping outside to get the class that they want, also built community at the same time. It is also nice to wake up and just register for your classes and not have to wait outside. So some of those things, there are pros and cons, I would say.
It was. Any other thoughts on that? And then I'm going to do one other question, and it kind of speaks to that as well. How do you think the campus environment has changed over the years, and what remains the same, and how has the physical campus transformation affected your connection to the college? And what spaces hold the most meaning for you? I can tell you what space doesn't hold the most meaning for me, but might be the room we're standing in, but I miss the library and the third floor and the big conference rooms.
I would say, so something that I think we've noticed coming back to campus now is that there are a lot more buildings on this campus than when we were here. Right. It was a much more open space. So that's I think, a very gigantic change. And again, now that students are here, this is what they know. Right. So it's you get change happens. all of our lives. So, but it is something that, some of the buildings are beautiful. I'm really sad because our dorm is being torn down. We were one of the first classes in Simpson, and it's now being torn down. We were going to go look. Olivia and I were going to go to our room and take pictures again, but we can't get in. But anyway, it is different. So
Talk to some current students. They might nothing. Don't. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it. Any other thoughts? What's changed? What do you like? What holds the most meaning?
I'm really glad that the Gopher Hole is back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It struck me the other day that, because what I do is it's the Gopher Hole. The Gopher Hole. It struck me the other day that because
That came in the 90s.
it was the student pub.
It's underneath Mary Fisher.
Yeah.
In the base, yeah.
It struck me because what I do for a living is I manage a bar, and when I was at Goucher, I worked in student activities, and I managed the Gopher Hole. So it struck me that was the first pub I ever managed. What do you know? That's where it started.
I walked the campus last night, and a couple of current students looked at me, and I realized that I'm not a current student. But there are some things that have clearly changed, right? This used to be a grassy knoll, Mary Fisher. But what I noticed that hasn't changed is students finding space and just creating space to connect with each other and or do their work. And that's still here. That's really cool. What was really alarming, though, was that the little private dining room in Mary Fisher that was so cool.
Yeah, in Pearlstone.
Pearlstone.
The Pearlstone dining room.
That little private dining room, gone. So that one was sad. But just seeing students kind of in that lobby area of Mary Fisher last night, it's no longer the post office, but it's still a gathering space. Yeah. So it's nice to see that those things endure.
Great, thank you. We're going to move into the last.
I'll tell you a quick.
Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'll tell you a quick story.
Yeah.
One of the things I don't think we paid much attention to it, but by and large, Goucher women are friendly. I'm talking about the decades when we were an all-women's college. And one of the lawyers in my law firm came into my office one day, a couple of years ago, and he goes, "Guess where I was yesterday?" And I go, "How in the heck would I know?" He was he was taking his daughter on a college tour, and one of the places they came was Goucher. And he came in and he said to me, "Goucher's very different than the other schools that we've gone to." And so, of course, I had to say, how, why? And he said, as we walked around, the students said hello. They were, pointed us in the right direction. He comes back to see me. His daughter came to Goucher. And she came to one of those, prospective student days or accepted student days. And she was very interested at that time in theater. And she was kind of wandering around, and a student stopped her and said, "Can I help you?" And she mentioned what she was interested in. And the student said, "Come with me," and took her off, introduced her to friends, went to a program that night on the campus. And the daughter was impressed. The father was particularly impressed. And I said, well, that's kind of the way Goucher is. And, but it was a stark difference from any of the other places they had gone. And, he basically said to me, he said, that really says a lot about the school. And I go, yeah, I know. But, to have a father come in and tell you the story of their experience when they're here for the interview, and then the daughter after she's, checking out the school, it says a lot about the atmosphere. And I was joking earlier that, you can be in any city in the country, and I have one of those I Love Goucher things on the back of my car that they gave to alums about 20 years ago. And I was in a parking lot in the Philadelphia suburbs, and a woman comes running over to me and goes, "Goucher, my son goes there." And I was telling Jeremy earlier, I'm driving down Wisconsin Avenue in Washington, and a car pulls up next to me, honks the horn, rolls down the window, and I forget what the tie was, but there was a tie to Goucher. And I dare say, I don't think you're going to find that at a lot of large universities where people will see a bumper sticker or something and go, "I know about that school." And, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's great. We're moving into the last section. We're gonna move into our quick little last section, and we're gonna kind of split this. I happen to be here from 2000 to 2004, so we're gonna kind of talk about significant historical events or cultural shifts that took place. I happen to be here on 9/11, and was coming back, as Jeremy mentioned, outside the post office, mailboxes in the school store. There was TVs that if you were here during that time, no one watched. And I remember coming back from class and people were just around the televisions and all of the things that happened. But what significant historical event or cultural shift took place during your time, and how did it affect campus life? The conversations you were having on campus that took place during those times, and kind of what does that look like from a reflected broader social changes? I know it's a little tight. It's a heavy question.
I'll go.
Yeah. We'll lighten it up, I promise.
While I was a student here, the former president, Barack Obama, was elected on campus. Well, not on campus, but elected. And it was a very, we have pictures, but it was a very powerful time, I would say. Students all ran out into like the quad area where a lot of the dorms are, and people were screaming, those who were excited were screaming, running around, and it was just a very, it was also the first time I had voted, I believe, so that also was a really profound experience. So yeah, that was a significant moment that I remember.
We lived through Y2K. and I remember the college sending out a note saying, "Your email may or may not work. We'll get back to you." And it did.
And continuing the political spectrum, so it was the election of 1980 when we were in college. And we had a mock convention, and each of the houses in the dorms was the state of Bennett or the state of Gamble. And anyway, it was really an educational event, and I think we elected Anderson. He was the independent at the time. But very fun.
Yeah, definitely.
That's great. Yeah, absolutely.
"Oh, thank you so much," which was at the end of the hallway in Van Meter, screaming, "Oh my God, the president's been shot, the president's been shot." And everybody just filed into the computer lab, and they turned the monitors, yes, you young ones, back into television sets, and we watched the story unfold. Any other math majors remember that? So again, the political events.
Continuing on the political theme, in my sophomore year was the year that John Kennedy was shot. And in those days, to show you how life among undergraduate students has changed, there were not televisions in every commons room in every dorm. And in Hubeck, I think there was one in Bennett or Gamble, I forget which. And everybody just basically fled from the dorm to the commons room, and you were almost like sitting on each other to see what was going on in the world. And I mean, that was, it was a remarkable experience, in ever so many ways. But it sort of showed, shall we say, the community interest in among the student body of what was going on, because it didn't matter what your political affiliation was. You really wanted to know what was going on in the world.
The person who swore Johnson in on Air Force One, Sarah Tillman Hughes, was a Goucher alum.
Sure was.
I hope that's part of the trivia game tonight.
So, oh, sorry, go ahead.
We are basically enumerating on multiple fingers the things that we don't have enough, because our freshman year, Martin Luther King was assassinated, Bobby Kennedy was assassinated. We had Moratorium Day, we had Kent State, we had, let's see, what else? It was just burning. But yeah, bra burning. But going back to one of the non-political things that happened while we were here was when Goucher won the College Bowl.
That's right. The trivia, the College Bowl.
And we beat Wesleyan, as I recall, and the story was, at least I heard, was that the person who was head of the Wesleyan team broke down in tears about losing to a bunch of girls.
Now that is the perfect segue into the last
exactly.
official question we have. So, I mean, it's clear, right? Every decade here, a lot of stuff going on, politically, non-politically, and, you know, we are always in tumultuous times. Sometimes we don't quite recognize it till after. But as we think about kind of your experience here at Goucher, and for our panelists, how did your Goucher experience prepare you to engage with or respond to significant societal challenges over the years? I'm guessing sense of community is part of that based on the threads that we've been hearing.
I feel like Goucher really taught me how to be myself. Goucher has always been very embracing but also a very unique community. And I remember coming on campus and like, oh, some people walk to class with no shoes on. That's different, like just different things that I've never experienced. And I think it allowed me to become more of myself as well, and to kind of put down some of the things that I may have kind of felt like I had to kind of pump up and just be happy with who I am. Sure. And that allowed me to go into the world more confidently and to speak more confidently and to feel more confident about myself and the things I've learned. I think I also learned, you mentioned about community. My professors were amazing, and I learned so much about how you're a leader by your example and how you are a leader by how you care for others. And so I remember crying to Professor Cornish about my first boyfriend breakup, and I remember just dealing with different professors with real life, not just classroom things, just real life situations that were going on, especially when you're away from home and there's just a lot going on. And so I think that I also learned that about giving back and building community wherever I am.
Thank you. That's great. Other panelists, how did Goucher help your experience here help you deal with kind of major challenges and changes?
So when I enrolled in 92, it was still very much a women's college. Mm-hmm. And I think, simply put, that taught me to be a better man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well said.
Along that line, Goucher is this bubble where we get to be vulnerable. And there's a lot of the world where that's not embraced. But the ability to have professors like Dr. Cornish be authentic and then later in life connect with them and hear how we impacted them, it's a reminder as we continue to go forward that the youth continue to teach us the fact that, we think that we're so smart because we're older. No. And that's something really unique to Goucher.
I think that I feel very grateful to have had, first of all, we had Rhoda Dorsey as our president. So, and thank you, Gail, for saying. So, fun fact, thank you, Gail, that she was the first female president of an all-women's college. So, really, and she was like just such a dynamic woman that you knew cared about all the students. And again, I think the professors I had were phenomenal and just gave me great confidence to go into the world and, know that I could be successful. So it was a wonderful experience. I have great memories and fun times at Goucher College.
That's awesome. Fun fact, Rhoda Dorsey wrote a recommendation letter for me for law school. So holds a dear place in my heart. All right, last chance. Any panelists want to jump in on that question?
I guess connecting a little bit to what you were saying, India, I think I went to a huge high school and then coming to a much smaller environment and just having that very personal attention from our professors and then the wonderful sense of community and just learning to be ourselves and go ye forth. So.
Great. Let me find one more. We have time for one more question. And I'm actually, and we've talked about how have you taken Goucher into your local community? There are a lot of you that are not here in the Baltimore area anymore, but as you've been outside of the Goucher bubble, as Jeremy so eloquently put it, how have you taken that community with you?
I brought Goucher into my backyard. And this is a pitch for alumni engagement, shamelessly. If you don't live here and you have the opportunity to host Goucher, please do it. It will fill your cup in ways that you cannot even imagine. Last year, we hosted around 20-ish, somebody from AGC, to keep me honest here, alums in my backyard, along with President Moraz. And it was so nice to see people kind of like this from a 50-year span who all have a similar route. So if you live more than 50 miles from the DMV, please do host Goucher.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Any other panelists jumping in on that one?
I think for myself, I take Goucher into my community. I shared a little bit about some of the experiences I've had, but I think career-wise, Goucher definitely prepared me to go on to further my education and all of the experiences I had here. I did an internship at Johns Hopkins while I was here, and just other opportunities that I was afforded. I was able to have recommendations and really kind of launch from here, if you will. And so I was able to go on. I was able to go on to Harvard to get my master's in education, and I'm currently working on my PhD. And I take the belief in myself and the belief that professors had that I could do more and I could be successful in the education field. That really launched me into continuing the work that I'm doing now. So I think just the belief in the opportunities, the studying abroad, I'd never been out of the country, the internship opportunities, career-wise really set me up for success.
Thank you. Barb, did you, or Joan, were you going to pop in?
Yeah, I guess one way I had a few Goucher students follow me at work, like a shadowing day over time, and that was really great too, just to be able to sort of give back to this wonderful school that gave so much to me.
Well, thank you. I just want to say, sorry, we've got a question. Yep.
Yes, a quick question. So one of the ways I took Goucher out into the world is I was a high school teacher for many years. And it used to be, and I wonder if anybody knows if it still is, if you recommended somebody to apply here and you were an alum, the application was gratis. Is that still the case? Does anybody know?
I think the fee is still, they do still have fee waivers for alumni.
Well, fantastic. Can we say a warm thank you to our panelists today? Yeah, great job hearing all that perspective. I'm going to ask Kristen to give us some housekeeping information. So
Before we do, I think we need another round of applause for our amazing moderators. Another round for our amazing panelists. You guys were incredible. So just a few quick housekeeping items. We do have some special dessert in the back, some cupcakes to celebrate all the amazing milestone reunion years, our alums, the Alumni House celebrating 70 years, Study Abroad 20, so many different celebrations. I just wanted to announce a few other upcoming events. At 2 o'clock, we will be hosting a Women in Leadership panel, and we actually have some of the panelists here. So I see Rude, I see Cindy over here, Amber is here. Our moderator was joining us earlier. This panel's stacked with talent, so I'm super excited to be a part of that and to attend that. The gallery located on the second level will be open until 4, so we encourage you to stop over there. And for those that need golf cart transportation, golf carts will be available starting after 1:30 directly outside the Ath doors. And then tonight we're hosting wine tasting as well as a trivia dinner. So if you didn't pre-register, no problem, we can accommodate at the door. So thank you again to our panelists and moderators. You guys were phenomenal.
Nice to meet you.
Yes. Traffic, the three little
right,
kids, all the things I got here, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I was just like, can I ram right in there? Yeah, I know.